freaking Berto, man. Like, the same Twisted Mind that has brought us the craziness that is Torkoal also has another Pokemon that he's quite the fan of, and this is going to be his showcase of that Pokemon for the last episode of this week's Fan Fridays. Now, it's not Donphan. He does like using Donphan, though. Leading the Donphan into the Noivern is great, and here's why I just have to say, come on, Berto. You go and submit a 112 turn battle. So, Donphan's going to go for that Ice Shard, try to do huge amounts of damage to the Noivern. Noivern's going to get off that U-turn, and already serious shenanigans have been done. So, Fast Bro comes in, and that's going to be Intimidate with the Crocodile, and Crocodile could get that Moxie going, so he's going to have the Aqua Tail. I guess he's Scarfed, and I guess it's not enough to take off Donphan, so Donphan's going to get that knockoff in its favor, getting that prediction and going, well, if he's going to be Fast Bro. Oh, Choice Band, what? I was expecting Scarf entirely, but that's what we have. So Choice Band does get knocked off, switches into Superior, and that's going to trade the knockoff, interestingly enough. So opponent scouting for options as well, thinking, well, knockoff's going to knock out Donphan, or just really weaken a Pokemon that comes in. So now we have Blaziken coming in, and that's just going to eat up the Leaf Storm pretty well. So this is an interesting potential for a turn that, after seeing that much damage and watching the damage doubling, you can stay in and go for that Leaf Storm, because if you bring in the Blaziken as the opponent, you're probably expecting, well, I'm just going to force him out and whatnot. So that's actually a pretty good move by both, just like getting the over predict into the double predict and stuff. So Flare Blitz, is it going to be too much for Superior? Yes, it is. So Superior does go down, and Blaziken, he's going to hang in there. So takes some recoil damage, gets another speed boost, but Blaziken's probably going to get checked here pretty hard. Goes into the Dragonite. So knowing Dragonite going to be just a really good Pokemon, okay, you can't one-hit KO me, and you don't have a lot of damage, does force out the switch, and that's going to be Togekiss. So free Dragon Dance for Dragonite. Now it depends on what Dragonite's running. If it has Thunder Punch or Ice Punch, you'll be able to handle Togekiss pretty well, or Extreme Speed. Now Lumberry Dragonite's going to be probably the best to go up against this, because you are going to see that Thunder Wave, and then you can retribute the damage however you want to from there. So Dragonite Paralyzed, there's a Lumberry, so we got the Lumberry Dragonite, and it's hard to come up with what you do in that situation, because you know it's not enough to KO the outright, so you just go for the Extreme Speed, eat the Thunder Wave, get that other Extreme Speed in there, and now you just have some damage. Now also sitting on this Extreme Speed on Dragonite's really good, because no matter how much speed Blaziken gets, you're always going to be able to handle Blaziken really well. So that's that, and Extreme Speed going to just, oh, he's going to go for that Withdrawal. So Extreme Speed is going to be huge damage unless he goes into a Ghost-type Pokemon, but he has Snorlax. So the +1, not going to be a stupid amount against Snorlax, but yeah, it's just going to be on that. So Dragonite's just going to go into Outrage. Still faster than Snorlax after that speed boost, and Outrage is going to be pretty serious. So sacrificing off the Snorlax and a lot of the Togekiss just to paralyze the Dragonite could be worth. So, ooh, Noivern's going to come in, go for that U-turn. So just getting the slightest bit of damage, actually breaking the multi-scale, and then going into the Togekiss right there. That's actually some pretty high-level play right there, because, you know, you're going to have to land that Outrage regardless. Not going to really be able to do too much, and then free damage, so breaking that scale is going to work out. Confused due to fatigue is going to happen, and now just staying in there and hoping for the Extreme Speed. Is it going to land? No, Dragonite hits itself, does a good amount of damage, and Roost on the Togekiss. So Togekiss getting some health back, and that's going to make it back into 2. Actually, it's probably back into 3-hit KO range now because of that. So the confusion into hitting itself is going to make Dragonite not quite be able to do anything. So switching out Dragonite, we got confusion and we got paralysis, so very low chance. And now Drapion comes in. So Drapion, one of Berto's main dogs of a Pokemon, going to be a huge tank, has a lot of disruption capabilities, and he's been talking about this thing for like 6 years, so maybe now I'll believe. Because he gave me was like, dude, you need to, wait, let me see if I can get the Berto accent. You need to use the Drapion, because this thing's just going to like dick punch everything. That's his word, dick punch. I love Berto, man. He's a cool friend. He's a great guy to have around. But he's always like, you gotta use this Drapion. He's going to knock off and stuff. So Protect going to just kind of work out with everything. So we get the Toxic Spike set up. That's going to be pretty solid right there. Drapion, it's got that Black Sludge, so I mean, you protect stall with that Black Sludge, you're forcing switches, you don't have to worry about your health going down, and I think that that's what Drapion is playing for. So switching out Drapion into Charizard, just anticipating an Earthquake, but instead, going to see the knockoff, knocking off the Wide Lens. So Focus Blast Charizard with the Wide Lens to try to make it to where it's going to have the highest accuracy possible. Still going to get the outspeed, still going to KO in the end. But a really awkward switch, not like kind of paying off, but not really. So we're probably going to see some Air Slash shenanigans off of this Noivern, just finishing off the kill right there. I'm wondering if it is Specs Noivern with that U-turn, because Air Slash going Specs into it pretty hard, and you still have a lot of speed. No, not Specs. All right. So just going to be U-turn, and not really going to do too much. Drapion neutral hit on that. And at least the turns are actually going by pretty quick. We're already 20 turns in, just a lot of really fast things. Now the Poison Spikes are kicking in. Oh, Poison Blaziken, and there's the Acupressure. So that's going to be pretty good right there. And that's Drapion. He's going to come in, be disruptive, can go for the Acupressure, stall out, get some defensive stats, and we're going to see if Scumbag Drapion pulls through. So Superpower. Drapion, he can take it. He can take it. He can probably take another one, honestly. So that's going to be an Acupressure. And what stats are we going to see on this? That's going to be the defense. RNGesus pulls through. Praise Goomy. Hail Arceus. Lord Rayquaza, save us all. We get the defense boost. And we also have Poison ticking away at the Blaziken. That's going to be like a free protect on Drapion, so even more health back. And after the drop from Superpower, so I mean, Blaziken's got nothing. Blaziken's just going to go down. Drapion's going to tank pretty hard. The Poison's going to come through. So Poison's going to finish off next turn. That's a free Acupressure into a Protect, so I mean, if you get special defense and stuff onto that, it's going to be pretty good. And the Superpower, once again, that's not a lot of damage right there. Attack going to drop, defense is going to go down, free Acupressure, and then leftover, or not leftovers, but Black Sludge. And getting 11 health back at the end of each turn. So I mean, almost going to make up that one superpower from those two. So shenanigans is pretty much all I can say right here. Now that's going to go into the Noivern. So we've already seen Noivern kind of go for whatever switch out stuff it wants to. We have the defense boost, so that's not going to be too good. Oh, Draco Meteor going to go for the big blow up right there. And we're going to see how that ends up going. Draco Meteor. Drapion's going to avoid it, and that's going to be a knockoff in return. So, might have mattered, probably. I don't know. White Herb gets knocked off. Oh, so Noivern with the White Herb going to just try to scout around and then land whatever two Draco Meteors it can find. Pretty good. So now Scizor. Scizzor's not going to be able to get poisoned by the Toxic Spikes because it's Steel typing, and it's Mega Scizor. So this is crazy, because I mean, we still have a lot of stall. We have the defensive gain against the Drapion, or against the Scizor. So knockoff going trade, and that's not going to do anything, because Mega, no bonus damage, no removal of a solid item. And now we're getting into mind game territory, maybe. Or not. Oh, that's right. Acupressure is going to start raising that evasion and making things really interesting. And now we have special defense on top of defense. This Drapion's getting everything that he needed. So protect, going to give health. And the way I saw it was if that Scizor had a Swords Dance, but I guess it doesn't. It might be default. No, if it had default, it might have shown it by now. It has Roost or something, so we got more of that tank going on. And I guess we're just acupressuring for the attack gain, because special defense, that's fine. We still have enough defense between the protect. We don't have to worry about Swords Dance, it looks like, and that's just going to be bullet punches, getting misses, knockoff, doing damage, and I think it's either anticipating a switch or just, you know, sitting in there for the damage. I mean, Black Sludge already, even more and more misses off of the Acupressure. This is why I called Acupressure a top underrated move. I don't remember if it was in the top 10 or top 5. But it's definitely an underrated move because, I mean, you throw it on a tank Pokemon like Drapion. If it gets that one setup that it needs at the right time, you have an unstoppable Drapion, it seems. So special attack gain. And that's not going to do much, but then we can, if he wanted to, he could protect all the way up to full almost at this rate. At least gain more than he's losing. And then Knockoff's going to be damaged. I think we're going to see the Roost at this point. We're going to see the Roost at some point. Drapion's going for the Protect, just to not take any more damage. And Roost. Okay, there it is. So that is one thing I've noticed about Berto, that he makes his outplay like a turn too late or a turn too early. So I mean, he could have protected a couple of those bullet punches and be around 3/4 by now. But I don't even think it matters because it's just a stall. It's like, are we seriously going to like what? Ooh, Drapion though. Actually, maybe Berto's playing conservative because Drapion's running low on Protect. So you gotta call those shots at the right time. So we're going to get another miss. We're going to get the acupressure. Just hoping for some invasion, hoping for some defenses, and we keep getting. Well, actually, attack would be pretty good. Then we can maybe get more damage onto the Scizor. This is ridiculous. So more acupressure is going to come through, and I wonder how long this is going to keep up. Are we actually going to like go through the? Are we going to PP stall bullet punch? Doesn't that have like 30 on all the moves that I can get? And we're going to go through a full acupressure. It looks like, so we're getting more evasion, and that's just going to make it good for healing. So yeah, why not protect unless you desperately need it when you could get misses like this and potential defense boosts. All right, Drapion. You got this one. It looks like Drapion's going for the late game, and the opponent really can't do much. It has to hit through all that evasion. A crit doesn't even matter at this point. Yeah, it's one of those things where, well, it got the setup, and now we just kind of wait to see what could happen. I mean, the opponent, I guess Scizor's the only option that can really be used. Wait, is Scizor the last Pokemon? No, there is Togekiss. But Togekiss can't. Well, actually, Togekiss Fairy, so I guess, but I mean, with special defense gains and all these other things, not really meaning too much. So Bullet Punch, Drapion avoids. Okay, Berto, how long does this keep up for? Because I'm just gonna banter randomly and talk about vague things like, yeah, this is just happening, isn't it? Okay, that's pretty neat. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So good job, Berto. Oh wow, he does go into the Togekiss. I was wondering when that was gonna happen. So now we finally see the Togekiss. I guess might have realized Drapion's dark. Something. So now we're to Leftovers War. So Knockoff is going to take off the Leftovers. Do big damage right there. Even for not very effective hit, all that bonuses. Trading the loss of Leftovers for a Thunder Wave. But Togekiss doesn't have that crazy sustain. Does have Roost though. So we know there's 2 Roost Pokemon left. And oh, now it looks like we're getting to the heavy PP stall. I think he's just like, I'm just going to keep Thunder Waving and then wait for, like, either the battle timer. I feel like the battle timer is going to run out. That with 112, if you're going off the full timer, like, actually, if there was like a 60-minute timer, yeah, eventually, you know, 30 seconds per round, maybe a little bit of thought in switching and maneuverability. I don't know. So Drapion, with all that evasion, you know, it's getting the misses, which means it's not going to get pair hacks, not going to get flinched into all that. Almost back up to full health off of all this. Your Slash going to keep missing, so max evasion from the dice roll off of the acupressure, and just sitting in there and making it count. So, Roost, big Roost, and now when does this, when do these shenanigans end up wearing off? Oh, back into Scizor. So, eventually the opponent goes back into Scizor. Okay. But we're still gaining stats. I mean, I guess we're trying to just stall out Bullet Punch at this point. Who has the better win condition at this point? Because Drapion is pretty much healing back everything if it doesn't miss. So I mean, it doesn't even need Protect. Like, we might get into a struggle situation unless Drapion goes to like +6 attack. I don't think Knockoff has enough PP to go through to stall through the Roost on both Pokemon, especially with the not crazy amounts of damage hit. So, guess using Acupressure, just kind of waiting for the damaging moves to go away. I don't know what this thing does, man. It's just something you don't want to be stuck against. So Pursuit, not going to do much. Not going to do anything because they avoid. There's Knockoff, and that's going to take out the Scizor, so I did jump ahead a bit. Scizor goes down, and that's going to go into the Togekiss. So now we're getting back into those. Drapion's going to avoid Knockoff. It's going to do enough damage, but Rooster will have enough in return. Opponent just kind of going for as many Roosts as possible because that's kind of what you have to do. And then Drapion, you know, if it gets hit, high chance of that paralysis, high chance of the air slash lockdown. Going to keep using the air acupressure, maybe. I don't know. Like, Togekiss has the advantage with the speed, so he can roost at his discretion and say, well, if I get crit here, that could be a loss. So, gonna skip ahead just a bit and see what happens. So, knockoff damage, roost's gonna happen, knockoff roost, paralysis, air slash, finally lands. And this goes on for quite some time, apparently. Alrighty then, that's... Okay, and is this going to be the rest of the battle? It looks like this is going to be the rest of the battle. Just Togekiss going into the Drapion, waiting for someone to run out of, like, Air Slash doesn't have a lot of PPs. I mean, Knockoff's going to eventually be enough. Stalling out the Roost could be the option here. Black Sludge, healing and then protecting the opponent's offensive moves. And, oh, we finally get into the struggle situation. That somehow, through all the protect, through all of that, we actually get it to where Togekiss struggles itself down. Drapion ending at a ridiculous... And I mean, we still had Dragonite to do some kind of extreme speed shenanigans. We had Ambipom. Ambipom can do a lot of work against the opposing team. So, I mean, it wasn't like completely hacks reliant. That there were ways to get around the team, but this was just the way of finishing off in style that, why take out the Drapion? We got the perfect setup. It got defenses and it got evasion really early on. So that's going to be the win right there. Man, we just did a lot of talking, and I need to go and edit, and hopefully you guys don't like get too mad at the skips too much, but I was not going to go turn by turn until someone started struggling themselves down, and that's what we end up getting into. So if you guys enjoyed this battle, Berto, man, you're insane. I like it. I hope you all have a nice day, have a nice week, have a great weekend, and all those other things. So have a good one, guys.